Hello and welcome to On Point. I'm Crystal Morales-Rodriguez. Harajuku Day brings J fashion from Takeshita Street in Tokyo to Los Angeles. Every month, a group of fashion enthusiasts meet up and walk the streets of Little Tokyo, kitted out from head to toe. In 1978, Tokyo's Harajuku district became the center of fashion retail. Fruits magazine, founded in 1997, became a platform for those who wanted to express themselves with their wardrobe. Jasmine Rose and Theodore Doncaster talk about their experience with Harajuku Day, the community, and what it means to them.
Like the first meetup I came to back in 2016, I realized all the people here were just so amazing, and it's just a good, friendly, welcoming, wholesome environment, and I just love having my friends here, and we get to share ideas, we look at each other's cords, we get inspiration from other cords, and we just love to just jam-pack each other and have a good time. And today we're celebrating one of the members' birthdays here today, so we do that. We're just friends and we love to have fun with each other.
I would really say that I like the uniqueness. Everyone's very kind to each other as well. And I don't know, just being around other creatives and being in a space that's very positive and very, it just sort of gives you room to grow and get, your own creative energies flowing. And it's just a very positive experience for me, and I'm stressed out all the time. So, this is a nice little respite from the everyday.
I personally learned a lot about Japan through the fashion, a lot of the culture, and all of the different styles of fashion that come from Japan has some cultural significance. There's always a reasoning behind it. The reasoning they brought Harajuku fashion to light in Japan is because they wanted to break from the norm, because Japan's very strict in their culture, and this all started because they wanted to break away from that, and we learned so much from that. We definitely learned about Japan through the fashion.
Participants dress up in their favorite outfits with distinct styles, pieces, and inspirations. J fashion enthusiasts who frequent Harajuku Day explain why they decided to dress the way they do and the inspiration for their looks.
The point I dress up today in present day is so that way I could walk out, be happy, but also to educate everyone about the style and what it means to be wearing rainbows and plastic as my shining armor of protection and kokoro. Yeah.
I'm wearing elegant Gothic Lolita fashion. Typically, there is a bell-shaped skirt silhouette and some kind of headgear, tights or socks, some kind of shoe. A lot of girls wear high heels, but I don't want to die. And undergarments consist of a petticoat and bloomers. They're what give the skirt the bell shape, and then, accessories.
It has a lot of different styles. It's not only just bright, colorful colors, it's also darks and monotones. It goes through all types of spectrums, and we just, just like how a goth likes to look goth, this is how we like to look. This is just our clothes.
On Point's Nicholas Gargiulo has more on the story.
Thanks, Crystal. I'm joined by two panelists today. We have Monique Morentin-Guzman, the Harajuku Day organizer, and Theodore Danielle Doncaster, also known as Teddy, co-founder of Valley Tea and Cake Society. So ladies, I'd like to ask you, what does Harajuku mean to you? Let's start with Monique.
Harajuku is just literally a place in Japan, but I think the expression through fashion is really important for pretty much everyone, every age. So I feel like with an alternative scene like Harajuku fashion, it's easy for you to express yourself and just be who you are.
Teddy?
I personally think that the idea of Harajuku fashion is very punk rock. It was came out of a need to rebel against society's expectations, especially for women.
So back to Monique. Why were you drawn to it originally?
I think it was just the individuality. I feel like just as an artist, you feel compelled to almost just make your own outfits and start everything when you see everything on the streets, Yeah. It's just so it feels like you want to jump into it immediately. And the community in Harajuku and here in the United States, it's always growing, and so it's always attractive.
Same question to Teddy.
I have family from Japan, and my aunt teaches origami, and so I had a exposure to Japanese culture at a very young age, and eventually I sort of found my way through the internet to find, Japanese street fashion, and I kind of got a little obsessed.
Okay, so next question. What is the average day for someone who's doing J fashion? Apologies. How do you get ready is what I'm trying to ask. Teddy.
I get up very early because I primarily wear Lolita fashion, and it takes me like 2 hours to get all these layers on and then do my makeup.
Now, really quick, could you tell us what Lolita fashion is?
Oh yeah, elegant Gothic Lolita is basically what I'm wearing here. It's a style of dress that is inspired by the Rococo and Victorian eras of fashion, and it's sort of to bring a sort of decadence and extravagance to an ordinary dress's silhouette. It's mostly defined by a shape, the bell-shaped skirt, although there are also A-line dresses and T-length dresses and so on and so forth.
Okay. Monique, how do you get ready?
Extraness. For me, I mean, I always like to be prepared, so ready starts like weeks before. Like I always think about different outfits to wear, so I'm constantly like thinking in my head, when am I going to wear this day? When am I going to wear next?
Yeah, you think ahead.
I think way ahead. It's a problem. But I feel like just waking up a couple hours early, getting your hair done. This took maybe 15 minutes today just because of the rush. So it's not, yeah, I feel like it's not too labor intensive as people think, but it can be if you want to. Just like going out, looking nice for the club could be labor intensive.
Okay, so what inspired these outfits today? Teddy?
Well, last time I saw you guys, I wore a very, sweet and girly outfit. So I thought, that's sweet Lolita. Why don't I try to get something as close to Gothic Lolita as I can? I don't have a Gothic bone in my body, so I tried to wear all black, and then, I don't know, just had a really cute black dress.
Yeah, it's totally weird to see you with not like a sweet print on.
Yeah, I usually wear like pink head to toe. I wore red last time.
Ooh,
yeah.
I like that.
It's very eye-catching. You tell me what capelet meant, which I appreciate.
Oh, yeah. I wore the cape I have with the barriers.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, I wore it again.
Oh,
pretty cool.
great.
All right, Monique, how about you? What inspired this outfit?
For me, the outfit my outfit was inspired basically around this hoodie. My friend from ACDC Rag, his name is Rima. He designs a lot of great stuff. I think the pastel rainbow vibes from this, I wanted everything to kind of have those vibes. So I wanted to get matching shoes, pastel jeans, good hat. Wanted everything to kind of copacetic around the hoodie.
And now for the idea of J fashion, do you guys get a sense of community when you dress up like this? How would you describe it, Monique?
I would say, I think for anyone in an alternative scene, the driving force of going out and like actually putting everything together is community, because you either want to look like you want to be yourself around other people. So people that are their most authentic selves and are dressed the way that they want and basically showing who they are by the way that they're dressed, it creates a really tight-knit community, and it's just kind of people you want to be around when you have everything on the line, I guess.
Teddy?
Well, I mean, you basically said everything there that needs to be said, I feel like the Harajuku Day community is my family, and I also feel like the Valley Tea and Cake Society is my family. It's like a home away from home, because sometimes, your normal family is like, why are you wearing that? So you want to be with people who are like-minded about fashion.
Well, you brought it up, so I'm going to get right back to it
Oh,
soon.
boy.
But how did you get started, Monique, organizing Harajuku Day?
Organizing Harajuku Day. So I was in the fashion scene, not necessarily towards Harajuku fashion, but I was always interested. Harajuku Day actually sprouted from a really great photographer named John Woo, who wanted to photograph Japanese fashion in Los Angeles. So he ended up starting Harajuku Day as just a meetup, just a one-time meetup. And it became so popular the first month that I went, that he started doing them monthly. And eventually they just needed a couple more people to help coordinate events. So after a few months, I was on the team.
And Teddy, what can you tell me about the Valley Tea and Cake Society?
We all wear EGL. That's short for Elegant Gothic Lolita. And we, meet up in different places. Once we went bowling.
So it's not all tea and cake.
Oh, no, it's not all tea and cake, but we try to have a tea party twice a year because we have International Lolita Day in the summer and the winter.
Oh, wow. So there's a lot of subgenres to Harajuku. I mean, J fashion. Apologies. What is your guys' favorite subgenre? Teddy? I think I can guess yours. Yeah.
It's Lolita fashion, but I also wear a little bit of decora.
Well, what do those really represent, do you think?
I personally believe that Lolita represents hyperfemininity as a means of rebelling against expectations, like I said previously. But I also kind of just want to dress like a princess sometimes, even though I'm like 30.
Totally fair.
Feel that deep in my soul, bro.
Same question to you, Monique.
What was the question? I'm so sorry.
What's your personal favorite subgenre?
Oh, I'd probably be Decora K. Like my Decora style is just a lot of accessories, a lot of colors. I love that. But I feel like there's so many different aspects from Gothic to Visual K through pastels, through all white outfits and everything. It's hard to pick a favorite. But this one's good for me.
Okay. What is your favorite part of J fashion, Monique?
I think that's a really broad, open-ended question.
I tried my best.
It's okay. I feel like one of my favorite things about J fashion is that, like any fashion scene, it's always evolving with influences that I can get behind and visual artists that are really moving forward in a good way. I feel like it's really easy to follow and really good visually, artistically.
Teddy?
Gosh. What is
your favorite part of
What
J
is my
fashion?
favorite part? Right. Oh my gosh. That's complicated, isn't it?
All
That's a
right.
good one.
You're over here like explaining it so eloquently, and I'm just like,
Oh, thank
I don't know. I want to dress like a princess. I don't know.
Hey, so do I.
Yeah, you wear Lolita sometimes too, don't you?
Yeah, I love Lolita. Yeah.
It's really fun. You can sort of like dip your toes in a little of each. Like I had a Lolita cord I did once that was like I had like a ton of stuff in my hair and stuff, kind of like Decora, but I was wearing big bell-shaped skirt. So you can kind of mix and match, and I think that's the most important and most like at least to me is the creativity, because sometimes we can stagnate really bad. And just getting out there and like having control over your clothes is very important, I think. If you have no control over anything else, I hope you have control over your clothing, because I don't know, it's a form of self-expression.
Would you consider J fashion a hobby or a lifestyle?
Yes.
Well, that answers the question. We're all done. Monique, you want to add anything to that?
No, same. It's a hobby and it's a lifestyle.
There are some people who wear Lolita every single day, and they call them lifestyle or Lolitas. I tried it once, and it was not fun because I was wearing like a ton of layers all the time. I was like dying.
No, I had another question. Would you want to wear outfits like these out normally, or is this more of a special occasion sort of?
It's a little of both.
A little both, yeah. I feel like, especially me, I guess, I usually just bum it, so for me, just the transition into, I guess you'd say a lifestyle is just my clothes that are bumming it are now colorful. So it's just like, pink Adidas track pants and like a baggy, colorful shirt.
That sounds really comfortable.
It's so good, but it's, I feel like whether or not it's a hobby, it ends up becoming a part of your lifestyle in one way or another, whether through business or friends or relations, things like that.
So who are some Harajuku or J fashion icons that you would recommend?
Haruka
people see?
Kurabayashi, she's number one. Decora model, she's the best. Oh, she's so good.
What was that name? Haruka?
Haruka Kurabayashi. Yeah, she made this necklace. She's so cool.
I feel like I'll get in a lot of trouble if I don't mention Mana, who is a rock star who, popularized Lolita fashion and was the main model for the Gothic Lolita Bible forever and ever. There's like always a picture or many pictures of Mana-sama
There's always, and I mean, Praise be Mana, and of course Sebastian Masuda,
Yeah.
Rima from ACDC Reg.
I mean, they're not real people, but Ichiko and Momoko from Kamikaze Girls.
Oh God, icons,
Yeah.
icons.
Yeah.
Wow. So a lot of them.
Yeah, there's so many.
So, personally, how have you two changed since you started participating in J Fashion? Teddy.
I think I've become a little more open. I mean, when you wear something like this, you kind of get a lot of questions. There are people, just people who just come up to the Harajuku Day meet and they'll be like, hey, can we get a picture? And so it makes you a little more comfortable in your skin, even though it's like you're wearing armor. So,
Yeah, I feel that.
yeah.
Monique?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my confidence has really skyrocketed. I feel like the first time I put Decora on, I always say I ended up crying because I was like, oh wow, I look so cute. I look great. I feel the way that I've always wanted to feel. So I feel like I've become more confident not only in the way that I dress, but in my interpersonal relationships. I have more confidence and able to connect more, and in art especially.
No, this is a more long question, so bear with me. Is this generally considered more of a female hobby, or do men participate in an equal amount?
I think Lolita fashion, the majority are girls, but I do know some Brolitas.
Brolitas?
Yeah, of course.
But there's also like substyles even of Lolita that are more masculine.
OEG.
Yeah, OG and aristocrat, Gothic aristocrat, I think is the way it's called.
Do you get a lot coming to Harajuku Day?
We used to. I feel like the Lolita scene, at least in Los Angeles, I'm very glad that they've flourished and have, gone to other places.
We had so many last time.
We had a lot. Ari, Michelle, who's now like a teacher in Japan, is a really good in the Lolita scene, and she's doing so much for the community. So.
Yeah, and some of the gals who work at Fickle Wish wear Lolita, like Jordy.
Yeah, Jordy. Jordy, she wears Lolita.
She sure does. She's so cute.
I know.
Now, we would all agree that J Fashion is a bit of a niche hobby. What do you think it would take for this to become mainstream in America?
I feel like it's already borderlining on.
Yeah,
It's close.
I mean, look at Billie Eilish. She's wearing clothes from the Harajuku designer Hypercore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I have to look that up.
Yeah, he was super excited. He was like, "Look at Billie." But I feel like it's already becoming mainstream. I feel like a lot of people are aware of what it is. Maybe just have a general idea. But I feel like as we continue to go out there and press on,
It's never been easier to get the clothes.
exactly. Yeah, never been easier to get the clothes.
How do you guys usually get these outfits?
Internet.
Internet?
Yeah, for Lolita specifically, we have our own version of eBay, sort of. It's called Lace Market.
Lace Market.
And people sell their clothes secondhand, or you can just go straight to the source. Angelic Pretty and Baby the Stars Shine Bright, they have websites. Metamorphose, which is my favorite, was the first one to have an English language version of their website. So it's pretty cool.
Monique?
I mean, I just everyday stuff. Fickle Wish is a store in Los Angeles that prides itself on having Harajuku and Shibuya-based fashions, and they're really this is where I get a lot of cool clothes. I buy a lot from independent designers. Some happen to be my friends, and I design like half of my clothes, so it just ends up being a fun project.
So what does California uniquely bring to J Fashion? What kind of influence does maybe America have on the
Oh man,
scene?
Pretty sure Gyaru is inspired by
Gyaru's inspired by
American
Western
TV,
fashion.
right?
If we could, what's Gyaro?
Oh, it's a gal fashion. It's like kind of going against the idea that you need to have very, very pale skin, dark hair, need to be very polite. So the girls tan their skin, bleach their hair, and they're very like, hey, get out of my face, like, like that. So, yeah, but I feel like, especially in Los Angeles, there's such a big population of people from Japan. So it's easier to see designers and experience the culture.
Yeah, and like anime conventions are starting to have like J Fashion shows and meetups and stuff. It's never been easier to at least get exposed as well. Like you go to AX and there's at least like a few, peppered in the crowd. And
Right, and I feel like how big the punk and drag scene here is in Los Angeles, it's easy for us to be accepted.
The punk and drag scenes, you find similarity between that?
Oh, absolutely, between the punk and drag scene in like the 80s up until now. Like it's open, it's inviting, it's,
I think there are some similarities actually between especially drag and wearing alternative fashion. I mean, it is an alternative fashion.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time I feel kind of like the expression of, this is my soul and I'm wearing it as armor and all that stuff. Or maybe this is how I want to be on the inside too. And it's sort of like this way of embracing, your ideal self.
Do you think it says something about gender expression the same way drag does?
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of really great people in alternative fashion wherever you look around the world that are bending the norms of gender. And I mean, Mana, there's all the guys that are in Visual K doing drag, and it's or just dressing the way that they want to, it's just dresses.
So Monique, how did you get into Harajuku?
Harajuku and J fashion, I've been in the fashion scene for a while. I went to a high school that had a fashion program. So I always had the experience of working within the industry and working on designs. I think something that was really big for me was when Kyari Pamu Pamu came out with her song Pompanwe. And that whole song was directed by Sebastian Masuda from 6% Doki Doki. And it was so amazing, and it just immediately gripped me. And I was like, this is something that I need to do, or just something I need to get into. So it just started slowly going from there. I think the first time I ever tried to look like in a cute Japanese kawaii style, but it was more like dark look, was to go to a Kyari Pamu Pamu concert. So, yeah.
So that leads me into my next question, Monique. What was your first J fashion outfit? I thought this would be a good one.
I don't like the. So, Decora is one of the big things about Decora is wearing hair clips in your hair, and I've never had very thick hair, so I got a wig, and I had a very long curly wig, and I had little cut bangs, and I had maybe like 3 hair clips because I was first starting, so it was like 3 hair clips, and I had an aristocrat's nightgown.
Like peignoir?
Yeah. No. It was those ones you can buy like in Chinatown, like just the big baggy T-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had that, and then like some shorts and maybe some sneakers, and that was my first decor trying to be colorful. I went from being like very like goth muted boho in high school to suddenly trying to incorporate color, and I don't know I didn't know how to do it. Sometimes I'm still like color.
Okay, so same to you, Teddy. What was your first outfit like?
Okay, so in the Lolita community, we have something called an Ida phase. That's just the ITA at the end of Lolita, because it's a pun based on the Japanese word for ouch. So my Ida phase was, I used my natural hair. I have very thin hair, and it was long at the time, and I don't have bangs. So I like did these weird little pigtails, and like I didn't have a blouse yet, so I wore like a little cardigan over it, and it was awkward.
We all went through it, man.
Yeah.
We all went through it.
Didn't even have the right kind of shoes.
Bruh. When I see the little tiny Lolitas in the Converse, I'm like, one day it's okay. One day at a time.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, so what are some common misconceptions that you would like to clear up?
I like how you just looked at me.
I feel like there's so many. That's why.
All right.
Yeah.
Monique, what do you think?
I did a video with Hooked on the Look, and I feel like a lot of the comments really showed what the misconceptions are. So it was always, how do you have a job when you look like this? And I was like, very easily. Work in the public sector, it's fine. I'm an emergency dispatcher, so I make, it's no issue. People think that we're into weird kinks, or this is supposed to be something sexual or something like that, when it's really almost entirely the opposite.
Yeah,
we're trying to...
In Lolita, we have we are trying desperately to divorce the novel Lolita. We have nothing to do with that, but someone in Japan who came up with the name for the fashion, we don't even know. No one knows who coined the phrase, but Lolita was just to them a really cute sounding name. It's short for Dolores.
Yeah.
I learned that recently.
One final question. This is for both of you. How would one go about joining the J Fashion community?
The door's open. I feel like the best thing to do is to look at your local community, if there is one. Just looking on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter is a great way to start.
I found Harajuku Day on Facebook.
And that's how we all found it. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like just stepping in, and there's so many communities on Facebook as well that are catered to one fashion or groups of fashion. Once you step in and ask questions or talk to people, you're already in the community.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. That's all the time we have today. Thank you, Teddy and Monique.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Do you know what to do?
Yes.
Bring it back to me. Then I'll give you your money.
Frank Thomas, you are under arrest for the theft of trade secrets. Come with me.
Bye-bye, Frank. Theft of trade secrets is illegal.
Thank you for watching On Point. You can follow us on social media at CSUN On Point. You can hear us on KCSN 88.5 FM on Sunday mornings at 5:30. You can watch us on Santa Clarita Valley Television on Sundays at 11 and 5, and on LA 36 at 4 on Thursday afternoons. For On Point, I'm Crystal Morales Rodriguez.